Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Cybersnolf, and welcome back to another episode of LEGO Arts. So in the last episode, we did a showcase on some more custom clone troopers. So now this time, we're going back to one of our old minifigures that we did for a showcase, and that is Spider-Man Miles Morales. As you can see, we've redone the Miles Morales minifigure, and I also have Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man Far From Home here. Just to show up in the background, as I think they're pretty cool for this character. So Miles Morales has actually been something that I've been wanting to redo for a while. When I first did it in the style of Into the Spider-Verse, it was okay, but that was back during my old method on the sculpted heads. The sculpted heads I'm still fine with. I'm still working with that one because I really like it with Spider-Man. But the webbing was so awful back then. And the head itself, I think, came out a little bit too big. So Miles has always been something that I've been wanting to remake, right? But I kept pushing it off because of some other crazy projects kept coming up, like Avatar, Devil May Cry, and a whole bunch of other ones. And finally, after seeing the trailer for Spider-Man Miles Morales for PlayStation 5, it finally gave me the hype to finally go back and redo Miles on not just the head, but I wanted to go further and completely redo the entire suit. So with that being said, this is going to be sort of like version 1. So keep in mind that a lot of this is subjected to change. My plot and plan is that when the game officially releases holiday 2020, which I don't know if it's November or December, but when it releases, and we get a better look at the suit and all the designs put into it, I plan to go back and make any changes necessary to the character. So with that being said, for now, let's get the pistol out and get the showcase on the road. So as you can see right away, there's a lot of difference between this Miles and the Into the Spider-Verse Miles. So one of the starters that I did was the head. The head was the main priority that I wanted to redo. And this one is much better than the other one. But I think there still can be some improvements. With the original head, I tried to salvage the minifigure head underneath, but I accidentally sent it in way too deep, so I realized that, this isn't gonna work. So I got rid of it and replaced it with a brand new one. And then when it came to sculpting it, it was pretty easy with the much softer clay. This came out better. The webbing, it's okay, but not as quite as small as, if you look at the Far From Home Spider-Man, you can see that, the webbing around is much smaller. And, a little bit more detailed. With this one, it is better than the other one. It's much better than the other one, but at the same time, you can see that, it's still slightly big. It's still slightly a little bit bigger, and what I'm thinking that I might do for, a change is either get new paint markers with a much thinner point, because I think that's how it's going to work. With a much thinner tip, or do the same thing that I did with my previous Spider-Man, and take some markers, draw on them, and draw on the webbing, and then go back with a clear, sealant, and coat the head into that. There was some webbing underneath here on the chest, but as you can see, the spider, it came out a lot bigger than I was expecting. So that's another change that I'm aiming for to redo with the spider. And as you can see, there's two separate reds here. On the head, you can see the outline for the lenses is in a bit of a brighter, bit sort of like a darker red, red on the lenses, and also with silver for the lens. I decided to go with that because I think it looks pretty cool. And then over here with the spider, that same red, same thing with the outlines, and it continues on to the arms. And you can see, it goes on to the back as well. Now, I decided to go with these, so that way that, with the webbing, it's not, overlaying with each other, and it would look, messy. So I wanted to avoid that. So I'll probably do that again, to, separate the two. Again, the webbing on, the shoulders, I'm not too happy with, because it's slightly big. I think I could go smaller. With it in the future. And definitely, again, the spider is definitely a change that I definitely want to bring in. Hang on. Speaking of spiders, the back is completely spitball. I tried my hardest to, go, looking back at the trailer to see if I can, get an angle that gives me somewhat of an idea of what the back is supposed to look like. I even played it in slow motion, but I couldn't get a good angle angle on what the back is supposed to look like. So as far as I know, it's completely spitball at this point. But when looking at the suit further and further, there is some similarities on the Miles suits in like the comics, and the official like Lego minifigure is based off of that. So that might be what the suit is supposed to look like. In the game, But again, until we know for sure, I'm just spitballing at this point. So the back is definitely subjected to change, in the future. And with some more outlines over here, you can see like the detailing of like the belts and going onto the back, and that same kind of detailing like goes onto the arms. The arms wasn't quite difficult because there was some pretty good angles to show what the arms looked like. But again, the positions they were in was a little bit tricky to try and like get the angles and like get the designs here and there. And same thing with the sides of the legs. Those are definitely subject to change. Same thing with the back. I am glad that I didn't have to modify the legs too much, because with the original Miles, I didn't really change the legs at all, so I could still have some articulation in the torso, like going front and back, but I might change that again in the future, and you can kind of see, like, hang on, if I position, and if I move him, you can see, like, some more slight detailing, like, on the legs themselves, Again, like with the arms, there were some pretty good angles for me to get an idea of what they're supposed to look like, but at the same time, this definitely, pretty much the entire figure is subjected to change. As I mentioned, this is going to be like version 1, and then when the official game releases, we'll go back and do V2 of this character. I will say that it's not terrible, but there is definitely room for improvement. Like, I'm thinking that, like, since the suit is similar to the original Miles, similar to the comic Miles, I might go ahead and buy a new torso, or so, like the official Lego Miles torso piece, because the detailing is there, and then probably just do the same thing I did with the Homecoming Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and just add some modifications to them, and then depending on like how new detailing will go into like the arms, and then as well as the back, I'll go back like and add those details in, and same thing with the head. The shape of the head I'll probably just keep, and the shape of the head and just like repainting the webbing, But I do like this version a lot more than the original one. The original one, it looked like a ball, or like a weird basketball for some reason, so I don't really like it. This one is much better. Just a couple of changes here and there, and it should be good to go. Also, so I'll do better sanding on like the sides of the torso, because I couldn't remove the arms. If I could, there'd be a lot more sanding on the inside for the arms, because they do have articulation, but you can see like the paint chipping off at the sides. So definitely when remaking it, that is gonna be like one of the minor changes for the future. But aside from those things, this came out cooler than the other Miles. I do like the spray paint symbol a little more, because it kind of fits with Miles' artistic personality. That he had in Into the Spider-Verse. But I'm really excited to see the final version of what the new suit is supposed to look like, and I can't wait to take that and implement it in minifigure format. And overall, that's going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will say that aside from the changes that will be added to the character later on, this was a pretty cool idea of going back and remaking this minifigure. Like, again, Miles was always on my list of characters to fix or redo. And definitely with this new game coming out, it's definitely gave me like the motivation to go back and redo it. And again, when the game officially releases, I'm gonna go back and do like a proper remaster of this character. So this is gonna be like, so this is temporary. February, and I can't wait to do like the final version when the game releases. And in general, I really like on going back to like some of my minifigures and sort of like making some changes to them, whether it be like to a small degree or a larger one. It's always fun to like go back to the old projects to get sort of nostalgia with it, and also to come up with like brand new ideas with each of them, and find ways to improve upon them, and come up with like new skills and everything. So I hope to do that again in the future with some of my older projects. But for now, we're gonna call it good. Good. So the next showcase will not be out for a while. But I will say that it's gonna be a project that has been in the back of my brain for quite some time, and after painstakingly going back and forth on how to approach it, how to do it, I finally come up with a solid idea of what I want to do. I just need to like get certain parts for them, and once the showcase is done, we'll begin recording on that, and we'll have about 2 more episodes before the 100th special. I'm still not spoiling anything, but I'm really excited to record that for you guys. And yeah, that's gonna be good. Also, quick update for you guys. On Thursday, I'm gonna be going out of town, and I won't be back until next week around Tuesday. So if I don't record any videos beforehand, that'll be like why I've gone silent for this time. But no need to worry about that. And I'm just giving you guys a heads up. And yeah, that's gonna be good. So, if you guys would like to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. It really helps us. We'll get less videos, and mainly have some fun. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch. And here's a hop on the road. Ow! Woo! Thank you guys, I'll see you next time. What do you guys, Moon Rises?